The massive Imperial warship hung in Earth's orbit like a dark cloud threatening rain. Its hull stretched nearly 20 miles long, dwarfing humanity's largest space stations. Admiral Reed of the United Earth Defense Force stood at the command center window of Orbital Station Alpha, his weathered hands clasped behind his back as he stared at the unwelcome visitor. "They're hailing us again, sir," Lieutenant Adams reported from her communications station. Her voice remained steady, but her fingers trembled slightly above the controls. Reed took a deep breath. For 3 days, the Empire had tried to force Earth to submit to their rule. For 3 days, humanity had refused. "Put them through," he ordered. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the alien commander. The being's gray-skinned face bore the characteristic ridges and metallic implants of the Empire's ruling class. Its 4 eyes narrowed at Reed. "This is your final opportunity, humans," the commander said in perfectly translated English. "Submit to Imperial rule, or face extinction. Your primitive civilization cannot hope to resist us. We have conquered 1,000 worlds." Reed allowed himself a small smile. The Empire, for all its technological might, had made a fatal mistake. They had assumed Earth was as defenseless as the other worlds they'd subjugated. They hadn't bothered to look deeper. "With all due respect, Commander," Reed replied, "you should review your history. Humanity doesn't respond well to threats." The alien commander's upper lip curled in disgust. "You leave us no choice. We will begin planetary bombardment in 1 standard hour. Your species' stubbornness will be its downfall." As the transmission cut off, Reed turned to his staff. "Initiate Defense Protocol Omega. Alert all commands worldwide. It's time to show the Empire why they should have done their homework." Across Earth, hidden installations hummed to life. In underground bunkers, quantum computers activated ancient defense systems that humanity had kept secret for decades. On the dark side of the moon, stealth satellites emerged from their camouflaged housings, their weapons primed. The Empire had assumed Earth was just another primitive world, barely capable of spaceflight. They hadn't detected the quantum shield network. They hadn't found the phase-shift weapons platforms. And most importantly, they hadn't discovered the true extent of humanity's reverse-engineered alien technology, salvaged from a crashed scout ship 50 years ago. Reed watched as the Imperial warship began moving into attack position. His tablet displayed real-time updates as Earth's hidden defenses came online. Humanity had prepared for this day ever since they'd realized they weren't alone in the universe. "Sir," Adams called out, "all systems are green. Defense grid is at full power. Ground installations report ready." Reed nodded, his eyes never leaving the massive warship. "Send one final transmission to the Empire." Adams opened the channel, and Reed spoke clearly and firmly, "This is Admiral Reed of Earth. You have 60 seconds to withdraw from our solar system. This is not a negotiation. This is a warning." The commander's laughter crackled through the speakers. "You dare threaten the Imperial fleet? Your arrogance will be your dash." Reed cut the transmission. He had given them their chance. Now it was time to show the galaxy why Earth should never be underestimated. "All commands," he said quietly into his comm link, "execute Defense Protocol Omega. Let's teach the Empire why they should have left us alone." The battle for Earth was about to begin, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy exactly what they were capable of. The Imperial warship's weapon ports blazed to life, energy building up for what they thought would be a devastating first strike. Admiral Reed remained calm as he watched the massive vessel position itself above North America. His tablet displayed a countdown, 30 seconds until the Empire's attack began. "All defense grid operators, stand by," Reed commanded. "Wait for my mark." Lieutenant Adams monitored the incoming data streams. "Sir, they're charging their main cannon. Energy readings are off the charts." The Empire's ship released its first volley, a blinding beam of plasma that streaked toward Earth's atmosphere. The alien commander probably expected to see devastation, to watch cities burn and humanity cower. Instead, the beam struck an invisible barrier 20 miles above the planet's surface and dissipated harmlessly in a spectacular display of light. Quantum shield holding at 98%, Adams reported with a smile. They're firing again. The Imperial ship launched a barrage of energy weapons, each more powerful than the last. The quantum shield absorbed every shot, converting the energy into power for Earth's defense systems. Reed allowed himself a moment of satisfaction as he watched the Empire waste their ammunition. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Imperial vessel," Adams announced. "Put it through." The alien commander's face appeared, its features contorted with rage and disbelief. "Impossible. Your world has no such defense capability. Our scans showed dash." "Your scans showed exactly what we wanted them to show," Reed interrupted. "Now, I believe it's our turn." He nodded to his weapons officer. "Major Thompson, you may proceed with Phase 1. Across Earth's orbit, hundreds of stealth satellites dropped their cloaking fields. The Empire's sensors suddenly lit up with targets they never knew existed. Before they could react, the satellites fired in perfect synchronization, releasing streams of quantum-phased particles that bypassed the Imperial ship's shields completely. The massive vessel shuddered as the particles disrupted its power systems. Secondary explosions bloomed along its hull as weapon emplacements and sensor arrays overloaded. "Direct hits confirmed," Thompson reported. "Their primary weapons are offline. Shield generators are failing." The alien commander's transmission became unstable, their image flickering. This is impossible. You're nothing but primitives." Reed leaned forward. "That was your first mistake. Assuming we were primitive just because we chose not to reveal our true capabilities. Your second mistake was threatening our planet." From the dark side of the moon, massive rail guns emerged from hidden bunkers. They had been waiting 50 years for this moment, built using technology reversed engineered from that crashed scout ship. Each gun fired projectiles at near light speed, their kinetic energy enough to tear through even Imperial-grade armor. The warship's hull buckled under the impact. Escape pods began launching from its sides as secondary systems failed. The mighty vessel that had threatened Earth just minutes ago now drifted helplessly in orbit, its power core destabilizing. "Admiral," Adams called out, "we're detecting multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Imperial reinforcements." 3 more warships materialized at the edge of the solar system. Each one was as large as the first, their weapons already charging. Reed had expected this, the Empire never fought alone. "Initiate Phase 2, Reed ordered. Show them everything." Hidden bases on Mars and Venus revealed themselves, launching swarms of automated defense drones. The quantum shield around Earth expanded, now visible as a shimmering blue barrier. The rail guns on the moon reoriented, targeting the new threats. "Send this message to all Imperial vessels," Reed commanded. "To the Galactic Empire, you came to our home uninvited. You threatened our people. You assumed we would be an easy conquest. That was your final mistake. Earth is not defenseless. We are not primitive. We have spent 50 years preparing for this day." He paused, making sure his next words would be clear. "This is your absolute final warning, leave our solar system now, or we will demonstrate exactly why challenging humanity was the worst decision your empire has ever made. You have 5 minutes to comply." The reinforcement ships held their position, probably awaiting orders from their central command. Their sensors would be telling them about Earth's true defensive capabilities now, about the technology they had so carefully hidden until this moment. Reed watched the timer count down, wondering if the Empire would choose wisdom or pride. Humanity had revealed only a fraction of their capabilities so far. If the Empire chose to continue this fight, they would learn just how creative humans could be when protecting their home. 3 minutes remaining, Adams announced quietly. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance. The next few minutes would determine whether this would be remembered as the day Earth stood up to the Empire, or the beginning of a war that would change the galaxy forever. 4 minutes had passed since Earth's ultimatum to the Imperial reinforcements. Admiral Reed watched the tactical display as the three warships maintained their position at the solar system's edge. The first Imperial vessel still drifted in Earth's orbit, its crew mostly evacuated, its systems failing. 1 minute remaining, Lieutenant Adams announced. The command center of Orbital Station Alpha had fallen silent, every officer watching the countdown. Suddenly, the tactical display lit up with new signals. Major Thompson's hands flew across his console. "Sir." Multiple FTL signatures detected. It's the Imperial First Fleet." 15 more warships emerged from faster-than-light travel, arranging themselves in attack formation. At their center floated a vessel twice the size of the others, the Imperial Command ship. Its design was unmistakable, with sweeping wings and golden hull plating that marked it as the personal flagship of the Imperial High Command. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," Adams reported. It's the High Admiral himself." The holographic display activated, revealing an alien figure decorated with elaborate cybernetic enhancements. Unlike the previous commander, the High Admiral's expression showed no anger, only cold calculation. "I am High Admiral Voss of the Imperial First Fleet," the alien announced. "Your display of technology is impressive, for a species we deemed primitive. But you have made a grave error in challenging the Empire. Surrender now, and we may consider sparing your major population centers." Reed straightened his uniform. "High Admiral, I see you didn't understand our warning. Perhaps a demonstration is in order. Major Thompson, activate the Jupiter array." Thompson entered the command codes, and deep in space, humanity revealed another of its hidden weapons. The largest of Jupiter's moons, Ganymede, began to transform. Its surface split apart like a blooming flower, revealing a massive installation beneath the icy crust, a weapon built inside the moon itself over decades of secret preparation. "By the void," the High Admiral whispered, his composure finally cracking. "What have you done?" "Humanity learned long ago that the best way to survive was to be underestimated," Reed explained. "That scout ship that crashed 50 years ago? We wanted it to crash. We arranged it. We've been accessing your networks, studying your technology, and preparing our defenses ever since. The Jupiter array is just one of our surprises." The array's central core began to glow with impossible energy readings. The Empire's sensors would be telling them that the weapon could potentially destabilize spacetime itself within its firing arc. "You're bluffing," Voss declared, but uncertainty had crept into his voice. "No species could advance this quickly. No one could hide such weapons." Reed smiled. "We've had nuclear weapons pointed at ourselves for over a century. Humanity excels at both advancement and deception when survival is at stake. Now, let me be clear, you have two choices. Option 1, leave our solar system, spread the word that Earth is not to be threatened, and we all live in peace. Option 2, find out exactly how many other surprises we've hidden in our solar system." As if to emphasize his point, the orbital defense platforms around Mars activated their targeting systems. On Venus, hidden missile silos opened their armored doors. Near Mercury, a network of solar-powered energy weapons turned toward the Imperial fleet. "Think carefully, High Admiral," Reed continued. "Your scans are telling you about our known defenses. But ask yourself, what else might we be hiding? Are you willing to risk your entire fleet to find out?" The High Admiral's expression shifted through various emotions: rage, disbelief, and finally, something that looked like respect. "You understand, human, that the Empire cannot appear weak. We cannot simply retreat. We're not asking you to appear weak, Reed replied. We're offering you the chance to appear wise. Tell your people that Earth is too costly to conquer. Tell them we're better as trading partners than as subjects. The Empire saves face, and everyone prospers. The command center fell silent as the High Admiral considered these words. The Jupiter array continued to power up, its energy readings now off any known scale. The Imperial fleet sensors must have been screaming warnings about the potential destructive power being generated. Finally, Voss spoke. Perhaps there is wisdom in your words. But know this, if you ever leave your solar system, if you ever threaten Imperial space. We have no interest in conquest, Reed interrupted. We only want peace and independence. But remember this day, High Admiral. Remember what happened when you thought us weak. Remember what remained hidden until you forced our hand. And ask yourself, what else might humanity be capable of? The Imperial Command ship's engines flared to life. One by one, the other vessels began to turn away from Earth. The High Admiral's hologram gave one final nod of acknowledgement before fading away. They're powering up their FTL drives, Thompson reported. All vessels are withdrawing. The command center erupted in cheers, but Reed raised his hand for silence. Stay alert. Maintain all defense systems at full power until they're completely gone. And prepare a message buoy. It's time to let the galaxy know that humanity is not to be trifled with. As the Imperial ships vanished into faster-than-light travel, Reed couldn't help but wonder what this day would mean for Earth's future. They had revealed many of their secrets, but not all. Never all. After all, humanity had learned well from its first contact with the Empire. It was always better to keep a few surprises in reserve. 1 week after the Empire's retreat, Admiral Reed stood before the United Earth Council in the underground chambers of New Geneva. The circular room buzzed with conversation as representatives from every nation discussed the implications of humanity's first major interstellar confrontation. Order, please, Council President Miller called out, her voice echoing through the chamber. Admiral Reed, your report on the current situation. Reed stepped up to the central podium, activating the holographic display. The image showed dozens of alien ships appearing at the edges of their solar system, but these weren't Imperial warships. In the past 7 days, Reed began, we've had contact with 23 different alien civilizations. All of them were previously subjected to Imperial rule. All of them want to know how Earth stood up to the Empire and survived. The council chamber erupted in murmurs. Reed continued, the Empire's defeat has sparked something across the galaxy. Other worlds are beginning to question Imperial authority. Our message buoy did more than warn the Empire away, it showed the galaxy that resistance is possible. The holographic display shifted to show transmissions from various alien worlds. Some showed celebrations in alien cities, others displayed rebel groups raising Earth's flag alongside their own. Humanity's stand had become a symbol of hope. But with this hope comes danger, Reed warned. Our intelligence networks have detected increased activity in Imperial space. The Empire cannot ignore this challenge to their authority. They'll be planning something. President Miller leaned forward. What are our options, Admiral? We've already begun implementing Phase 3 of our defense plan. The quantum shield network now extends to Mars and Venus. The Jupiter array is fully operational, and we've activated the asteroid belt defense grid. But our best weapon remains secrecy, the Empire still doesn't know our full capabilities. The holographic display showed new installations being constructed throughout the solar system. Hidden shipyards in the Kuiper belt were already producing vessels using improved versions of Imperial technology. Defensive platforms around Neptune and Uranus were nearing completion. There's more, Reed continued. Those alien civilizations contacting us? They're offering technology trades, military alliances, and economic partnerships. The galaxy is changing, and Earth is at the center of it. A council member from Asia stood up. Are you suggesting we become the leader of an anti-imperial alliance? No, Reed replied firmly. We're suggesting we become partners with those who want freedom. Earth didn't defeat the Empire through superior firepower alone, we won because we were smarter, more creative, and better prepared. We can teach others to do the same. The display shifted again, showing plans for a new organization, the Solar Defense Initiative. It would be a framework for sharing defensive technology with other worlds while maintaining humanity's most critical secrets. The Empire ruled through fear and overwhelming force, Reed explained. We can show the galaxy a different way. Not through conquest, but through cooperation. Not through subjugation, but through mutual defense. Another council member spoke up. And what if the Empire retaliates? What if they return with their entire fleet? Reed's expression hardened. Then they'll learn that what they saw last week was just the beginning. The Jupiter array? It's one of 3. The quantum shields? They can do more than defend. The technologies we revealed were carefully chosen, impressive enough to force a retreat, but not our true masterpieces. The holographic display showed one final image, a massive construction project hidden in the sun's corona, powered by the star's own energy. Its purpose remained classified to all but the highest levels of Earth's leadership. We've spent 50 years preparing for the worst, Reed continued. The Empire thought they were being clever, sending that scout ship to test our defenses. Instead, we used it to access their networks, study their weaknesses, and build countermeasures to every weapon in their arsenal. If they return, they'll face an enemy that knows them better than they know themselves. President Miller called for a vote. The Council will now decide Earth's path forward. Do we remain isolated, or do we help other worlds protect themselves from imperial aggression? The chamber fell silent as the votes were cast. Reed watched the tally climb on his tablet. The decision would shape not just Earth's future, but the galaxy's. The vote is complete, Miller announced. With a majority of 87%, the Council approves the formation of the Solar Defense Initiative. Admiral Reed, you will oversee its implementation. Reed nodded solemnly. Thank you, Madam President. I suggest we begin with the worlds closest to Imperial space. They're the most vulnerable and the most valuable as buffer zones. As the Council meeting concluded, Reed returned to his office in Orbital Station Alpha. The station's windows showed Earth below, peaceful and blue, while the damaged Imperial warship was being studied in a secure facility on the Moon. His tablet chimed with a priority message: long-range sensors had detected unusual activity in Imperial space. The Empire was mobilizing its forces, but not for an attack. They were fortifying their borders, establishing defensive positions, preparing for a new reality. The message was clear: Earth's warning had been heard. The Empire had learned to fear humanity's potential. But Reed knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was changing, and humanity would need to change with it, while always keeping a few surprises in reserve, just in. 1 month after Earth's stand against the Empire, the Sol system had transformed. Ships from dozens of alien civilizations filled the space lanes between Earth and Mars, each seeking alliance with the world that had defied Imperial might. The damaged Imperial warship, now a museum piece in lunar orbit, served as a constant reminder of humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage. Admiral Reed stood in the newly constructed Galactic Embassy dome on Mars, watching representatives from former Imperial worlds file into the Grand Assembly Hall. The dome's transparent ceiling offered a view of the rusty Martian landscape, now dotted with defense installations and diplomatic compounds. The first meeting of the Free Worlds Coalition is about to begin, sir, Lieutenant Adams reported. She had been promoted after the Imperial incident and now served as Earth's chief liaison to their alien allies. How many worlds are represented? Reed asked, adjusting his formal uniform. 37, sir. More than we expected. The Empire's grip on the outer systems is weaker than they let anyone believe. These worlds were just waiting for someone to show them resistance was possible. The assembly hall fell quiet as Reed took the podium. Alien faces of all descriptions looked up at him, some humanoid, others wildly different, but all sharing the same look of hope and determination. Welcome to Mars, Reed began. 1 month ago, Earth stood alone against the Imperial fleet. Today, we stand together with you all, not as rulers or conquerors, but as equals. Each of us has suffered under Imperial dominion. Each of us has dreamed of freedom. Now, we have a chance to make that dream real. The holographic display behind him showed the known galaxy, with Imperial territory marked in red. It was still vast, but now pockets of resistance appeared as points of light, spreading like stars in the darkness. Earth's victory was not about superior firepower, Reed continued. It was about preparation, innovation, and the willingness to protect our independence at any cost. We've been asked to share our technology, to help build weapons like the Jupiter array. But weapons alone won't free the galaxy. He gestured to a team of human scientists and engineers waiting at the side of the hall. Instead, we offer something more valuable, knowledge. Earth's greatest strength isn't our hidden weapons, it's our ability to adapt, to innovate, to find new solutions to old problems. We will teach you not just to defend yourselves, but to think in ways the Empire cannot predict. The display shifted to show plans for a network of quantum communication relays, allowing instant coordination between free worlds. Another image showed designs for stealth technology that could hide entire planets from Imperial sensors. But freedom requires more than defensive technology, Reed explained. It requires cooperation, trust, and mutual support. The Free Worlds Coalition will be built on trade, cultural exchange, and shared knowledge. Together, we can create an alliance stronger than any empire. Suddenly, the emergency channels lit up. Adams rushed to Reed's side with a tablet displaying urgent data. Sir, we're detecting massive Imperial fleet movements. Hundreds of ships. The assembly erupted in concerned murmurs. Reed raised his hand for silence. Display the tactical feed. The holographic image showed Imperial warships gathering at key points throughout their territory. But they weren't forming attack formations, they were creating defensive lines, establishing buffer zones between their space and the free worlds. Look closely, Reed said to the assembly. The Empire isn't preparing for war. They're adapting to a new reality. They've learned that subjugation isn't the only path to power. Now, we must show them that cooperation is stronger than conquest. He pressed a button on the podium, revealing one final secret. The image showed massive construction projects hidden throughout Earth's solar system, but they weren't weapons. They were shipyards, research centers, and training facilities. Earth has spent 50 years preparing for this moment, Reed announced. Not just to defend ourselves, but to help forge a new future for the galaxy. The Empire believed that power came from dominance. We will prove that true strength comes from unity. The assembly hall erupted in applause and alien expressions of approval. Representatives began signing the coalition charter, establishing the foundation for a new galactic order. Later, as the sun set over the Martian landscape, Reed stood with Adams in the observatory deck. Do you think the Empire will really accept this new reality? She asked. Reed smiled. They don't have a choice. Their entire system was built on the assumption that they were invincible, that no one could resist them. We didn't just defeat their ships, we defeated their myth of invulnerability. Other worlds now know that freedom is possible. And if they try to stop us? Then they'll learn why you should never corner a species that spent most of its history preparing for wars that never came. The weapons we revealed? The technology we showed? It's not even close to everything we have. Humanity's greatest talent isn't building weapons, it's making sure we never have to use our best ones. A fleet of diplomatic vessels rose from the Martian surface, carrying representatives back to their homeworlds. Each ship carried not just technology and defense plans, but something more powerful, hope, and the knowledge that the galaxy was changing. Earth had given its warning to the Empire, and the Empire had listened. But more importantly, the rest of the galaxy had heard it too. A new age was beginning, one where freedom and cooperation would replace dominion and fear. And if anyone, imperial or otherwise, threatened that future, they would learn why Earth's final warning should be taken very, very seriously.